Step into the Amazon basin, and you quickly realize something uncomfortable. In this sprawling, dense labyrinth of vines and shadows, humans drop off the top of the food chain. We are entirely out of our element. Our biology is a strict liability here. We have a narrow field of peripheral vision designed for open plains, and our auditory processing is slow. When you are pushing through thick foliage, every snapping twig and rustling leaf overwhelms your senses, making it impossible to isolate an incoming threat. And out here, threats don't announce themselves. A perfectly camouflaged, massive coiled anaconda can drop from the canopy without a sound. Let's freeze that moment. This timeline compares two critical speeds: the strike of an ambush predator and the baseline human startle response. The anaconda's strike takes milliseconds, closing the distance before the signals reach our brain. That deadly delay creates the sensory vacuum. This vacuum is the fraction of a second where your brain is still translating the raw data, leaving you physically defenseless while the attack is already happening. Surviving a sensory vacuum requires bypassing our biological limits entirely. You have to outsource your threat detection to a vastly superior, living alarm system. Back in real time, the human is still processing the blur of scales, but the dog has already intercepted the snake midair, reacting fractions of a second before its handler even registers the ambush. This visualization illustrates exactly how they do it. Canine ears act as parabolic antennae. A parabolic antenna is a curved surface designed to capture and direct energy, in this case, high-frequency sound waves, straight into the ear canal. They pinpoint the exact origin of a rustling leaf long before we hear a thing. The only option now is to run. But human legs are clumsy in the underbrush. Tripping over hidden vines and slipping on slick roots, a handler goes down hard against the sharp stones. This is where another biological mechanism kicks in: pack drive. Pack drive is a canine's instinctual motivation to work closely with, protect, and remain near their social group or human handler. In a high-stress scenario, a working dog's pack drive actively overrides its own self-preservation instinct. Instead of fleeing the apex predator, the dog turns back, using its powerful jaws to grab the handler's jacket and drag them to their feet. The dog functions as a physical extension of the human survival instinct, closing the gap between our limited anatomy and the lethality of the jungle. The sprint breaks through the dense canopy and hits a river edge. The water looks calm, offering a clear path away from the vines. But the escape route immediately turns into a secondary ambush. Shadows detach from the riverbed as multiple water snakes rise to the surface, cutting off the path forward. Humans are terrestrial mammals. Once we enter the water, our already limited speed drops severely. Our clumsy swimming strokes make us incredibly slow and highly visible targets. This map details the tactical solution to that problem: predator distraction. Predator distraction is a maneuver where a highly mobile ally intentionally creates chaos. The dog aggressively thrashes in the water, lunging and snapping, successfully drawing the direct pursuit vectors of multiple predators toward itself. By sacrificing its safety to hold the predator's attention, it buys the human the agonizingly slow seconds needed to paddle to the far bank. That calculated, selfless distraction is the exact tactical mechanism that allows a slow-moving human to cross an aquatic trap and make it out alive. Dragging themselves onto the opposite shore, both human and dog collapse into the mud, their muscles drained of every ounce of energy. They're completely soaked, covered in deep scratches, and bleeding from the desperate sprint through the thorns. But as the first rays of dawn cut through the thick mist, the shadows of the jungle retreat. The immediate biological threat has finally passed. The lesson pulled from the mud and the blood is incredibly simple. Trust your dog. It might save your life. Our ancestors leveraged this exact trait, pairing human cognitive planning with canine biological sensors to survive environments that were otherwise inaccessible to us. This symbiotic relationship, where one species compensates for the other's sensory blind spots, is a 15,000-year-old survival strategy. Today, that biological blueprint of a relentless protector remains hardwired into the modern dog. that ancient partnership still stands as our strongest defense against the wild.